Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video here at the channel. It is so lovely to have you back here. In today's video, I'll show you how to do this 3D title effect. And it is quite easy to do, and it's also quite fun to mess around with it inside of Fusion. So that's what we're going to do in this tutorial. If you are new to this channel and want to learn Davinci Resolve filmmaking tips and tricks and having a look at some pretty cool gear, I would recommend you to subscribe. Also, if you want to support the channel even more, push the join and learn more about memberships that are available on this channel, and also all about the perks you are going to get. Well, with that out of the way, let's get right to the tutorial.
Okay, so let's get right to this 3D title tutorial. So first off, we do need to add in a Fusion composition, and that's in the effects library under effects. And we're just going to drag that down into the editor inside of Davinci Resolve 17, and we'll go directly into Fusion, and all we have here is a media out. So let's add in a background just to set up our composition right. So there's some different things we could do right here, and that would be to change the background color, and you can do that just by clicking here and selecting a color. Another option, of course, would be to go up under type, and inside of the solid color, we can actually change this to 4-corner. And let's say we want to take the top left, we want that to be blue, like this. And then also we want to have the bottom left to be blue like that. Just going to pick the same color. Okay. And then we're going to take the top right, and let's take the same color, but let's just make it darker, something like that. And for the last, I'm going to select that color, and I'm going to pick the screen color. I'm going to take the darker blue, like that. So now we have this contrasty thing here. So that is the background set. So let's start with a 3D text. We also do need a 3D merge later, and we do need to have this 3D renderer. So first off, to get the 3D text to actually be visible, we need to render the 3D in a 3D renderer to 2D. And to be able to see this in our composition, we do need to merge in our 3D effect here. And you can do that by dragging this line down to the output of the background. And now we have that connected. And let's just write a text. Keep. And let's take a different font. Let's take like Tahoma, something like that. And let's make it something like that. And right now, this is just a flat text. So to make this 3D effect, we need to go into the extrusion, and we can then change the extrusion depth. So right now, nothing is happening yet. And that is mainly because we need to go into our 3D renderer and enable the lighting and the shadows. And now everything turned black. And that's not what we want either. So the main reason this is turning black is because we do just need to add in some lights. And there are different ways we could do that. We could drag in this light here. But this is a spotlight, so this will do kind of a spotlight effect, and that's not what I actually want. So I'm just going to push Control spacebar, and I'm going to write light. And I want to have this directional light in 3D space. I'm going to add that in. And now I do need to have my merge 3D. So the 3D merge, I'm going to select that, push Shift and drag that in between the text and the renderer. I'm just going to move things around here. So The 3D merge is kind of like the 2D merge. The only difference is that you can just keep putting things in. So I'm just going to put in a light into my merge, boom, and here we have that effect. So if I take my directional light here and I'll go to the transform and into the rotations, I can actually rotate my light. And in fact, if I take my 3D merge and drag that up in the second viewer, I can also have a perspective of what I'm actually doing. So you can see I have my directional light here, and actually you can't really see that it's changing anything. So that's easier to do with that selected and in the controls. So let's say we want to do something like that. And now we have this 3D effect we actually wanted. So let's take our text here, and I'm going to push Control C. I'm going to click out of the grid and Control V, and I'm just doing a copy of the exact same text, and I'm going to put that into the 3D merge. And now it's just the same text on top of each other. So let's just write another word. Focus. And this just look crazy. So I'll be in my second text here. It could be pretty helpful to push the function button on the control or F2, depending on which keyboard you are using. So you can rename the tools. I'm just going to write what this is, so I know. So now I'll just go into the transform, and here I am going to, I can change the things in the rotation. I can do stuff like that, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm just going to reset all of those values. However, I'm going to use the Y here, so I will push this a little bit down. Also, I want to add in another directional light. So again, I'm just going to copy, push out in the grid, and V to do that. I'm going to add that in. And we're going to take this second one. I'll go to transform. And again, I'll go into this rotation, and you can kind of move things around. I'm going to move this a little more backwards. So I'm going to kind of light it from the back. You can see that right here. And then, you know, it is just a matter of messing around with the different things here to make the effect you want. Something like that. So now we have like a key light and a backlight on this, and we could add multiple lights if we wanted to do that. So let's do a little bit of animation as well. So I'm going to take a 3D camera and I'm going to add that in here. And I'm just going to connect that again into the Merge 3D. And now we can see nothing. Main reason for that is that the camera is actually way behind the animation right here. So you can zoom in. If we hold down the control button, you can zoom in. Also, if you push the middle mouse button, you can zoom in. So let's take our camera, select that, and go into the transform. And in this case, we could move the translation here, but I want to go into the set depth here. And perhaps I want my effect to be kind of like this, but I also want it to be a little more 3D-like. So let's do a camera movement. Let's say when we are 30 seconds in, this is the position I want. And I'll go to the beginning, and I'm going to kind of fly in between here. So this is what we have now. Something like that. But because of this, our 3D effect kind of disappeared a little bit. So I'll go up to the different text here, I'll go to the keep, and I'll go into the transform. And, you know, I can then play around with the rotations and stuff like that. And then, you know, I have my view here, so I can kind of, maybe I want something like this. Again, I'm going to figure out how I want it. I want it to be like this when we are 30 seconds in. And I want it to be like kind of a movement. So I want it to be like that. So if we go here to the beginning, I want this top to go this backwards, and I want this rotation to do some kind of a spin. So now it's doing a kind of a spin. Like that. Okay. For the focus text, I want to do kind of something similar to the other one, but just I want to do a little opposite. So I'll put in 2 keyframes. I'll go to the beginning, and then I'm going to push these things around. It'll do some kind of a spin like that. Just like that. And that's kind of cool. One thing you, of course, easily could do, because this looks a little bit boring. So if I go to my keep text, I'll go into my text, and I can actually change the color. So let's do some kind of a purple color, something like that, maybe. I'll move the lighting around, and you can see I have this nice effect here. So maybe I want that. I'll go to the other one. And I want this to be a little more like something like that. Okay, so now we have this little effect here. I think this is kind of cool. So one last thing, because this, you could add in multiple lights and do different colors and stuff like that. And actually, there's no limitations to how many notes you would put into your Merge 3D note. So anyway, I want to add in a little subtle thing as well. And actually, I just want to take in a fast noise here, and also want to take in a merge. So I'm going to merge something in after our 3D has become 2D. And for this, I'm just going to add in my fast noise. And in my fast noise, I'm just going to push up the details, give it a bit of contrast. I'm going to brighten it down a bit. I'm going to scale it so it looks like some kind of clouds. And then I'm just going to, let's say, I'll go to the beginning here of everything. And I want this to move. Actually, I can just go to the end. Doesn't matter. But I want this to move. And I did put a keyframe in the center. And I'm just going to put this upward. So it's kind of like smoke or steam or something. However, I want it to kind of disappear as well. Very subtle. So it's going to start out at 100%. And then I'm go down to my merge node 2. And I'll go into the blend mode. I'm going to put in a keyframe here at the beginning. And then, you know, when the text is here, I want this to blend a little more in the background, but it should still be there, but just very subtle. So now we have this thing. So I think this is a pretty cool effect. Of course, if we are not happy with the extrusion of our, you know, our text, we could just make it bigger. For instance, let's say 5 instead. So now it's completely different and way too big. So let's say we'll make it to 0.5 instead, like that. And now it's going to be way more 3D-like. And that is the great thing about working with the 3D text. You can actually make it kind of the way you want. Anyway, I do hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, share it with your friends if you think it would help them out, and if you want to be notified every time there's a new video on this channel, please hit that bell icon down in the corner. Until next time, keep filming, keep learning, and keep sharing.